So can Kelly Holmes do it again? The women's 1500-meter final gets underway, and immediately Kelly Holmes moves to the back of the field, just lets them all come around her, as we might have expected. And at the front, as we thought, Yevdokimova of Russia immediately moves to the front and sets off at what looks like a pretty good pace, and the field stretched out nice and early, and the Russians perhaps want to test Kelly Holmes and say, well, okay, we saw your pace over 800 meters, let's make this a true run 1500.
Three Russians in the field. They do have the opportunity of working a little bit together to try and help the pace along. Abi Leghesi, if she's keen in the red vest of Turkey, if she's really keen on trying to atone for her performance in the 5,000 meters, you would expect her to be in amongst them when they start pushing the pace. And Kelly Holmes looks relaxed, looks controlled. There's only one athlete behind her, and that's Benhassi from Morocco, and that's exactly where she was, just behind her at almost every stage in the 800 meters. Unfortunately, she was behind her in the finishing straight. 63 seconds for the opening lap, and that's a pretty good pace. That's sub 4-minute pace for the women's 1500 meters.
Well, there are only 4 women in this field who've ever run under 4 minutes. Kelly Holmes is one of them. In fact, Kelly has the quickest of all the personal bests here. That was a few years ago, 2-3 years ago now, but in terms of season's best, only one athlete, and that's Abi Leghesi, has gone under 4 minutes. So Yevdokimova just coming up with the tactics that we thought she would. Hoyetska very close to her, and this, of course, will test Kelly, no doubt. All of them will be put under pressure in the latter stages, so it will be important to find a good position, not just now, but I think on this third lap we'll see Kelly moving up.
Kelly Holmes taking closer order now as they go through 2 laps to go in the women's 1500 meters, and Kelly drifting through the field. And one of the athletes that I thought was going to be a danger is right at the back of the field. That's the athlete who finished second to Kelly Holmes the other night, Benhassi of Morocco, is giving them a few yards start as Kelly Holmes moves through 2:8 through 800 meters. That's still around 4-minute pace. It's not excessive, it's not too quick. And Yevdokimova, well, whatever team plan they had, all that's happened is that she's setting the pace. So there's clearly no Russian team plan. And obviously the other athletes, as they go through 600 meters to go, drifting on through, moving on through. Kelly Holmes now in the next 200 meters needs to work her way past some of these other athletes and put herself in a position so she can view the front of the field.
I think if it continues to slow as it is at the moment, she won't get too stressed, and she's just keeping an eye, is on the outside, running almost in lane 3, Kelly Holmes. Just keeping an eye on this athlete, I think, is the danger here. Obviously Tomashova and Hoyetska, and now the race just starts to pick up. Yevdokimova doesn't let Hoyetska pass Kelly Holmes, has got to get a bit closer.
Well, I hope the tiredness of the rounds of the 800 meters and 1500 meters aren't catching up with her. She was very clever the way she was able to bounce off the other athlete on the inside there. They're coming in now, just approaching the 3-lap marker, 3:12, so it's still a fast pace, but it's not a suicidal pace, it's not a vicious pace, and Kelly Holmes now needs to just dig in there. There are a few too many yards and little gaps opening now. Can she run as controlled as she did in the 800 meters? Here comes Kelly Holmes.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving there. Tomashova doesn't seem to have much, but she's going to go with Kelly. Kelly coming on the outside, looks so easy. Has she got enough in the home straight? Hoyetska tries to move out, but Kelly looking round to see where the danger is. There doesn't appear to be too much. Now she's got to push on. Now she's got to kick for home. Kelly Holmes going for 2 gold medals. It's going to be an historic second gold. Kelly Holmes for Great Britain wins the 1500-meter title. What a performance. 3:57.91, a personal best to boot. You are the double Olympic champion, Kelly Holmes.
That is the greatest performance in the history of British distance running, the history of British athletics in the Olympic Games. We've had some great athletes have tried to do the double. Sebastian Coe was first and second in the past. Back in 1928, Albert Hill did win that double. But Britain's first ever gold medal in the Olympic Games was in the 1500 meters, and now our most glorious moment in athletics history, as far as I can see. Kelly Holmes has done now, at the age of 34, what she's been threatening to do for the last 10 or 12 years. She is the double Olympic champion. We've never had one like you before. And Steve, the last British athlete that came close to it was Sebastian Coe, and he ended up as Lord Coe. Surely we're going to call her Dame Kelly Holmes tonight after that performance.